Have you ever heard the idea, do what you love and never work a day in your life? I made the mistake of believing it. It almost made me completely give up what I love most. Let me explain. When I was 14 years old, I started a YouTube channel because frankly, I wanted to be famous. I know, sorry. But very quickly, I began to realize that I actually really enjoyed filming and editing. I made a few what I won't call short films, but more like high effort skits, and I was hooked. I watched every video about filmmaking I could. I bought courses, I read books. I was sure I was gonna become a director or something like that. And I made progress. I got to know my way around a camera. I got comfortable editing. I learned color grading. I started to have like a vision of the future, so to speak. I imagined a world where, and remember this was like 2015, I would be the one to make Dune into a modern movie. A world where things I made affected people just as much as the movies I grew up watching affected me. After years of hoping and dreaming and working, at age 21, I got my first real job as a video producer. But this is where the problems start. I was making videos for a startup Japanese tourism YouTube channel, and it really seemed like the perfect fit. I was getting to live in Japan, I was getting to travel for work sometimes, I was making a living off of videos, but I really just did not like it. I hated writing scripts, I hated doing voiceovers, sitting in my darkroom for hours attempting to finish an edit in time. I really started to doubt myself. I thought about that phrase and how it wasn't fitting. I started to think maybe video should have just stayed as my hobby and that maybe I should just go get a real job. Now, I did have some hope. I knew that while I didn't enjoy most of the process of making the videos, I was really proud of the things I was making, and I knew I was improving. In my heart of hearts, I did still believe in the dream. I just hoped that maybe this job specifically wasn't a good fit for me. To make a long story short, I moved on from that position to a video marketing job that had a much lower workload, gave me more creative freedom, and also paid a lot better. And I thought that would be the answer. And it did lead to further improving my skills and getting to shoot in more context and with better gear than I had ever been able to before. But I still didn't really like it. In opposition to my previous job, this one had a lot of downtime. And that might sound like a good thing, but it really wasn't for me. I'm a quick worker, so I would finish my projects quickly and then I would just have to wait. I tried to keep myself busy by proposing new projects and running tests and even cleaning and things like that, but that only took so much time. I would sit at my desk for hours with zero work to do. Yet I felt guilty doing anything not work related because, I was getting paid to be there. So it just gave me a lot of time to overthink. I thought about how both my two jobs working in the field that I thought I wanted to be in, I had ended up really not enjoying. And I took that to be a really bad sign. I knew there would be some struggle involved, but I never comprehended the idea that after the struggle to get the thing, it would just turn into a different kind of struggle, if you know what I mean. I thought about how even when I was creating things, it was to sell a product that I didn't really believe in. And creativity is such a personal act that it really felt like I was kind of lying. So I was like, okay, well maybe I should just strike out on my own and try to do something closer to movies, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. But then I had thoughts of, well, do I even want to work in the industry at all? And what would that do to my family life? I lost all motivation to create outside of work, and I wasn't enjoying my time in work. So in a word, I was depressed. I decided that yes, I should have kept video as my hobby, and that I was gonna make it back into one. Now, looking back, I know this is a grass is greener type thing, but I decided that I was gonna become a pilot, of all things. I thought it would really fit my personality and my strengths. I started looking at programs, figuring out finances, and I think I even wrote out what I was gonna say to my boss. But one night, while in that process, I was reading some scriptures, and I came across this. If you desire, you shall be the means of doing much good in this generation. Thou hast a gift, and blessed art thou because of thy gift. Remember, it is sacred and cometh from above. Even though, yes, those words were written for someone else a long time ago, they really spoke to me. I remembered what I had loved learning about and experimenting with and doing for so many years. I remembered the visions of the future that I had. I realized that, yes, there would be days or weeks or maybe even months when I didn't fully enjoy what I was doing. But I knew that I had a passion, maybe even a life calling, if you will. And while, yes, I was by no means a master at that passion, I was pretty decent. And that if I was gonna make a good impact on the world at large, it was filmmaking. So with that perspective shift, I stayed at that job for another 1.5 years. There were a lot of highs and a few lows, and that's all right. All in all, it was exactly what I needed. And I actually did end up really enjoying it for the most part. I think it just took a few months to get going. In order to get closer to my goals, I am now doing cinematography freelance. And surprise, surprise, it still feels like work sometimes. But I know what my goals are, and I know that most of the time I do really enjoy what I'm doing. I've realized that the further along I get in the process, the more I actually am enjoying myself. I think in the beginning, I was comparing myself to people that, had it made, essentially, when I should have realized that there was a process for them too, and I think just there is for everyone. I've also gotten better at keeping my side projects alive. I think for my own enjoyment and even for my progress, I just need stuff like this. So thanks for being a part of it. I guess instead of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, it should be do what you love and never regret a day in your life. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll like my last video where I talk about why I was in Japan and how crazy of a process that was. Okay, I like this video. I think this is gonna be a good video.